Mykola Podrezan is a Ukrainian traveler who has visited 70 countries, 63 of them in a wheelchair. Having traveled to 6 continents, covering more than 230,000 kilometers by plane, train and car, he has proved that people with disabilities can live a full life. I first traveled abroad when I was almost 35 years old. That is, the Soviet government took away almost 35 years of opportunities from me. Why was I so interested in traveling? I was interested in my father, who died at the age of 101 and spoke 6 languages until his last days. Although he was an engineer, not a philologist, he could give a tour of London in English, Berlin in German and Madrid in Spanish, although he had never been there. In 1991, Mykola Podrezan traveled to Estonia on business. There he got into a terrible car accident, which resulted in a complex spinal fracture. At the age of 38, he was confined to a wheelchair. I was faced with the choice of what to do, either to fight without hope or to live a full life in a wheelchair, and I chose the latter, the traveler explained. At the time, Podrezan was most shocked by the isolation from society that people with disabilities face. He decided to fill this information vacuum. He organized television marathons for the International Day of Persons with Disabilities and became the organizer of numerous contests such as Miss Ukraine in a Wheelchair and Night of Ukraine in a Wheelchair. In addition, Mykola Podrezan created one of the first centers in Ukraine to provide psychological assistance for the rehabilitation of people with disabilities. In 2004, the man became one of 120 Ukrainians who carried the torch during the Kiev leg of the Olympic torch relay. It was then that the Kiev resident set out to repeat the path of the 2004 Olympic torch relay. To realize his plan, Podrezan even sold his real estate. In September 2011, the Ukrainian embarked on a journey that grew into a project, Planet Earth, viewed from a wheelchair. The traveler was accompanied by his wife Natalia, as well as a copy of the Olympic torch, the national flag, and a small globe on which Mykola recorded the places he visited. He traveled for 7 years. During this time, he visited 26 countries on 6 continents. The route planned by the traveler covered 35 cities, but Podrezan visited only 34. The stage in Moscow was cancelled due to the war with Russia. The purpose of his travels is not just tourism. The activist wants to inspire other people with disabilities to live a full life by his own example. Podrezan also studies how life is organized for people with disabilities abroad and tests the accessibility of tourist attractions. The best adapted countries are those where human rights are the basis of the country's existence, both for the government and for the people. These are Western countries, as well as Japan, Australia and South Korea, and also ultra-modern countries such as Qatar and the Emirates. Almost everything there is adapted: transportation, buildings, shops, infrastructure. I will never forget the sun rising over the Himalayas. Early in the morning, I was standing on the balcony. The Kathmandu Valley stretched out in front of us, behind it almost next to us, and in fact 70 kilometers away was a range of 8,000-meter mountains, one of which was Mount Everest, and below me were clouds and the sun was rising over the mountains. If I managed to do something, what about you, with your arms and legs? Traveler Mykola Podrezan.